So, Dave, we've had a lot of questions about insurance, and people asking if the current landlord policies are adequate for an event such as this, or if they need a different kind of insurance. In your opinion, what is the answer to that question?
Well, insurance in the greater Houston area is expensive. And so to lower your deductible could be a very expensive proposition for an occurrence that happens maybe once every 10 years here in the greater Houston area. So one of the issues with homeowners insurance or landlord insurance is that the deductibles are usually a percentage of the value of the property. So if you have a $250,000 property, the deductible may be $5,000 or $7,000. And even with the exception of the house that Charlie mentioned that had 9 individual water breaks, most of the time the damage is going to be below the deductible. So it's something that is certainly worth looking into. I think flooding is probably a bigger concern in Houston than the freeze situation. And so what we do encourage people to do is even in an area that is not technically considered a flood area today, to take a look at flood insurance, especially in the Woodlands, Greater Spring Conroe area. There is starting to be more flooding up there during major events like Harvey. Flood insurance is often pretty reasonable and has reasonable deductibles. So actually, I would suggest people focus a little bit more on that than the freeze. Now, I did have rental property myself up in Virginia, in central Virginia, where it does get cold in the wintertime. And what I did was to send notices to my tenants prior to the Christmas holidays and say, reminder that if you do leave for the Christmas holidays, and in this case, I had mostly graduate students and young professionals. I said, if you leave during the Christmas holidays, you must leave your heat on at least 62 degrees. You cannot walk out. If you turn the heat off and we sustain a winter emergency, and of course up there we don't usually lose power during a winter storm, then you will be responsible for that damage. So that tended to kind of keep people in line. And because this was a rare event, we don't usually have freezing. It also wasn't during the Christmas holidays. And third, we didn't expect to lose power. So to say to somebody you need to keep the heat on is fine, but if you have no electricity and no water, there's really not much we as landlords can do in those circumstances. But certainly one important thing to do is to do a good periodic insurance review. I encourage people to work, if they have more than 1 or 2 rental houses, to work with independent insurance agents as opposed to an affiliated agent. And that's nothing against the State Farms and the Allstates. It's just that when you've got more than 1 or 2 rental properties, you are in the business of renting properties, and you probably need an agent who's more tuned in to that specific need that you have.